Need a way to keep your compost contained? Stick around and see what we did. What's going on, everyone? Jason with Wandering Grace Farm. Happy Labor Day. Today we're working on the compost bins. We started a compost bin when we got here in 2023. We added to it throughout the year, and throughout last year we started a new one this year, but they've gotten kind of out of hand. Let me show you what we're dealing with. So here's our first compost bin. It's a pretty simple bin. We had a frame that we found here on the property, and we just had some OSB plywood sitting around not being used for anything, so we added that for the sides and the back. The frame was a little flimsy, and so we came off on the back, unattached on the back corner that you see there. But for the most part, it's been all right and done all right for us. We have this growth coming up all around it. We're going to address today. We're just going to pull some of this stuff out, add it to the compost bin. We're just going to clean this one up a little bit. This is the second compost bin that we just started this year. You can see that this is the frame that I was talking about. We found another one here on the property when we moved on here. Not really sure exactly what it was for. I assume possibly you put a bale hay in there and it keeps the cattle from getting in and destroying the hay, but I'm not certain on that. And so for this today, what we're going to do is, obviously we got growth all around it that we're going to address and pull and take care of, but we also got to put sides on here. So we're going to cut out these bars at the bottom to have a little bit easier access from the front, and then we're going to use pallets to put on the sides and the back to create a framework. We have a lot of chicken bedding that we have to replace in our two coops, and so it's going to be a lot of bedding that we're going to be throwing in here, and I want to have the sides in place before we start throwing the bedding in here so it doesn't overflow and cause an issue for us. So that's the plan today. It's just going to be me. The boys have some school activities that they have to go into town for, and Laurie's making some delicious English muffin bread inside. So it's just going to be me tackling this project. Let's see how it goes. What I'm running into pulling this stuff out is mixed in here is sandbur plants. So our crop of sandburs this year has been really good. And so, you know, you go down and pull a horseweed or one of these pigweeds, and you grab a fistful of the sandburs. It doesn't feel too well, especially since I'm wearing just these mechanics gloves. So I pulled all the horseweed. The horseweed's tough on the string trimmer. The pigweed's tough on the string trimmer. I still have some, I think these are ground cherries in here. They're a little viney and a little pointy themselves. I'm hoping the weed eater string trimmer gets through that. But pulled everything in this bin for the most part. We had a lot of this grass in here, piles right there. I'm going to move this over to pile number 2 once I get those walls on, so that won't stay here. But then this side also. So next step's going to be the string trimmer and trim this up. This one might be a record. This is pigweed. We got a lot of it here. The root system is pretty good. It gets pretty deep. Generally they have a tap root. You can see that main root right there. And so this one's been growing for a while, so you see all these offshoots from that main tap root. This thing is huge. I'd probably say root to root, I'm 6 foot. This is probably, I don't know, 5 foot tall, root to tip. So pigweed, not fun. And it's spiky too. Some of these spots on here, I don't know if they're seed pods or what, but they can get pretty spiky. So if you go to grab it and pull it, you can get pricked. And so that's why I grabbed the shovel. It was in there pretty good, and the spikes were getting me in my hand. I couldn't pull too hard, so had to resort to the shovel, but it worked. We got it. Okay, got everything weed eated around the edge, around the edges in the middle, and on this side. So everything's weed eated. Next up is to take this, where are we at? This cross section out. This one and then the one on the bottom, I think. To give us some access from the front so we're not having to go over a bar. I think it should give enough, still be stable enough to support everything, but we'll see. That tore up that blade. That blade's done. So I think it was sometime last year, we had a friend of ours bring a bunch of these pallets to us, and they've been sitting next to the chicken pen, the duck pens, because we didn't really have a use for them. But it's always nice to have them on hand because now we're going to use them. So thank you, Robert, for bringing these. We really appreciate it, and we're putting them to use right now. Okay, that completes the project. Let's take a look at what we got. So here's bin number 1. Just weed-eated around it, cleaned up the inside. I still have this side that I got to deal with at some point. It's the framing came undone. The weld broke there at the back, and so need to put that back somehow. But we're not adding any more to this pile, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But weed-eated it all around, and then we added the pallets to pile number 2 and put the weeds that we pulled, the vegetation that we pulled, into here to hopefully break down. But attaching the pallets to the frame, just used hanger strap. I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, easier way to do it, but I thought that this was going to be more versatile, not knowing how I wanted to attach them, but I think it worked out pretty good. And then just attach it with some screws. But did it all the way in the back too. Put the 2 in the back, put 2 on the sides, and yes, you have the spacing in between. I don't know how that's going to hold up with putting like bedding in here, but I've seen other people do it and it seems to work for them, so we're going to give it a shot and hopefully it works for us. I also found a use for those bars that we cut down off the front. I pounded them in as kind of like a side support, side bracing for here. It wasn't too bad, but I just added that just to double it up and reinforce it, just in case there did get some side-to-side play. Putting those sides up will help a lot. Like I said before, we have to clean out the chicken coops, and I think there's 7 to 8 bags of bedding in each one, so that's a lot of bedding that we're gonna have to throw into this compost number 2. And I wanted to have the sides up in the back so then we could just dump it in and not worry about it falling out. Because it's going to be a lot. One thing about number 1, compost number 1, like I said, we started that in 2023 when we moved here and we first started getting chickens. We didn't have a garden, we didn't have any greens, we weren't cutting grass and collecting grass, we didn't have any greens to add to it. So all that's in compost 1 is just those pine shavings, and then the chicken manure on top of the pine shavings. So not sure how that one's going to end up. We don't turn it or anything like that. You know, I know there's different schools of thought: hot, cold compost, aerate, don't aerate. We're new to the game, so we just put stuff in a pile and see what it does. I'm sure we'll get the hang of it and we'll get a system down that we like in the next 3, 4, 5 years. But for right now, we're just piling stuff on. That's the nice thing about compost number 2 is we had the garden this year and we had a lot of greens. You know, you got trimmings from the zucchini and the squash, anything that you want to pull, you put in there. So we have greens integrated with this bedding, so it'll be interesting to see how that one breaks down. One thing I want to touch on is I know that you want to be careful with putting seeds in the compost piles. You know, I put a lot of the stuff that was growing around the piles into the compost, and there were seed heads on it. It doesn't get hot enough, I don't think, in order to kill those seeds and render those seeds not viable. So whenever we pull that compost out and pull that soil out, or whatever's coming out of that compost pile to use in our garden, chances are we're going to have some seeds that are going to sprout. I'm not too worried about it right now because the way that our farm is set up, we haven't cleaned it up enough to where we're weed free or unwanted growth free. So we're battling sandburrs, we're battling pigweed all over the place, so I'm not too worried about spreading some out in the garden and just weeding it as we go out and weed the garden. So in the future, we'll be aware of that, cognizant of that. You know, try not to put any seed heads unless we have a hot compost pile. Won't put any seed heads in there, but for right now, we're just doing what we can with what we got. Like I keep saying, we're brand new to this. We're learning as we go. You know, trial and error. You try something, see if it works. If it doesn't, you learn from it and you move on, try something else. So hopefully you guys got some ideas. Hopefully you guys got some use out of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any tips on compost or anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment. Other than that, thanks for watching. Take care and stay rooted. Bye, y'all.